What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Mike's Face Really Close to the Light. I was getting comfortable. I guess all the rocking notes have finally gotten to him. Welcome to another episode of the Tim and Mike Show. This is a show we talk about movies. We give suggestions of things we like, things that we're watching. We just like to talk about this stuff, and we want to talk about it with you, the world. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe to YouTube. It helps the algorithm. I don't know how, but that's what I was told to say. And that's it. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm pretty good. I am obviously fixed my camera issues from last episode. I got some nifty new studio lights here that are pretty sharp. They're bright, right? Would you say they look good? No?
Yeah, looks very nice.
Looks
You don't have
good.
lights shining right in your eyes, do you?
Well, yeah. Well, look, I got two of them, so they're kind of cross beaming, so they're not direct center, which is good. So the next challenge of the ever evolving fix your studio situation is to move my monitor to where I can, because right now I'm having to look at you over here, but not the camera. So I'm going to set the monitor, kind of adjust the monitor so it's over here a little bit. But that's the next step. So that'll be a challenge that we'll take on later on. But yeah, man, everything's good. How's everything with you?
Great. Same old. Same old, same old.
Sounds super fun. Super exciting.
It's my life. It's the
Well,
same every day.
you know, there's a lot to be said of them. That's nice, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great.
Cool. That's real cool. Have you
Yeah.
thought about doing a puzzle? Maybe mixing up a bit and trying
Man,
a puzzle.
I don't really have time for anything else. We'll see. Every day is a new day, you know.
Maybe you should stop watching all these movies then.
We do that at night.
That's true. See, I sometimes like to watch
I
a
don't know if
movie
you
while
noticed
I
it's
puzzle.
gray in my hair, but I don't really feel like doing much more than that.
I like to watch movies while I puzzle sometimes. I'm a big time multitasker. All right, man. So speaking of movies, have you watched anything this week from the last time we talked about The Exorcist, which I hope you've watched that episode, people, because I really enjoyed our episode coverage of The Exorcist. Did
I
you
watched some of it.
Did you see the flashing of Captain Howdy?
No, did you put it in there?
Oh yeah, movie magic.
No, I didn't see that.
It's very subtle. It's like the show, like the movie. So you got to. It's only like 2 or 3 frames of like, and I did it like it's like 15 times in there.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. But it's only like 2 or 3 frames. Sometimes it's 1 frame, so it's like real close, real fast, real quick. So, but if you ever pause that show, it's right there. It'll be Captain Howdy like in your face. Very,
Check it out.
very movie magic-y, man. Yeah. So, what have you watched this week, my friend?
I watched, let's see, I picked 3. I watched Lightyear.
Oh, how was that? Lightyear, Sans, Tim Allen. Quite controversial, as it turns out.
What's that?
Sans, Tim Allen without Tim Allen.
Yeah, well, you know, his voice almost sounded like Tim Allen's to me.
Really? Chris Evans' voice sounded like Tim Allen?
It's almost like he did something with his voice. I don't know. Didn't sound
Did
bad.
like watch a whole bunch of Home Improvement before he took the role. He's like,
So the premise is the movie. So the toy is inspired by this movie, Andy's favorite movie.
right. Wait. So the toys inspired
Lightyear.
by the movie. This is
Right.
Andy's favorite movie.
Right. So Lightyear is that's why he's different.
Okay, so I thought the premise was this is like the real Buzz Lightyear.
It is. So it's Lightyear the movie. So the Lightyear the movie inspired the toy that Andy plays with in Toy Story.
Is Andy in the movie?
No, it's just the movie. You're watching the same movie that Andy watched when he was.
How do we know it's Andy's favorite movie?
Because it says it in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, it says it in the beginning of the movie. So it's good. Yeah, I liked it. There's a little controversy around one of the characters and some of the stuff. I thought it was
Controversy.
great. Yeah,
Pixar
there was
movie.
stuff
Everybody's
going
happy.
on, some political stuff, or some sexuality stuff going, because his main partner is likes women, I guess, and has a relationship with a woman, but it's
Okay. Sounds very 2022.
right. Exactly. I don't understand what the whole big deal was, but I
Right.
guess just because I was watching clips on YouTube, they made it seem like there was something going on in the movie that kids shouldn't be watching. But I guess that's just, you know, politicized for you.
See, I don't get that. Like, why? I guess I should probably read about why it's so controversial. But I'm all about inclusivity, and
It's
like,
real life.
it seemed like, yeah. So it's fine. It's real.
Don't.
It's everything, right? So if you make a big deal out of it, it becomes a big deal, right? That's
I guess that's what it is. Well, Chris Evans was even doing interviews going like, I can't even believe we're talking about this.
yeah. Okay.
Plus,
Yeah.
I think what it was is some of the other countries were banning it,
Like,
but
who?
they have issues with that kind of sexuality anyway.
I'll tell you what. As a person who follows movies pretty closely, I tell you, was China banning it?
I'm not sure. I can't remember which countries
If it
were.
wasn't China, if it
think
wasn't the US, who gives a bleep?
Well, I think at one point the issue was, I think Pixar wanted to play it how they made it, and Disney was trying to stop it as well. I think that was another thing that was going on. And I guess it's because it's for kids, but trust me when I tell you, and I don't know if they cut a bunch, maybe there was more to it at that point. When I tell you there is nothing in there that's bad whatsoever, I don't get it. So like I was going in thinking, well, what am I going to see here? What's so risque? There's nothing. They just have a relationship, and it's brief.
But it's a view on the modern world. I mean, I don't get.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I mean, it exists in real life. Yes.
Yeah. So there it is.
I don't get it. I
don't get it either.
I don't get it. I don't understand. So
It's because half the world's become Karen, and so like that's the thing, right? Everybody in the world, at least 50% of this population, currently of the 7 billion people on the planet, are all Karens.
I think
50%
as well as I do that there's lots of things in the world to worry about, and that's not one of them. So, but
Right.
That's the thing is, I think people get bored because their lives are probably better than they think they are, and they come up with reasons to cry and whine.
I think the opposite. I think the thing is, I think the opposite is true. I think that it's the fact that their lives, and comes from a lot of people who kind of just grief about anything, right? And I'm taking a bit of a serious note here on this, but I think their lives aren't very good and they cannot do anything about it. Therefore, they're going to make somebody else's life.
Oh, well, I just meant if there's really nothing that's going bad in the place where you stay, because we got a pretty good here. I feel that you search for things to kind of,
Right.
But yeah, you're right. They're probably very unhappy people, I'm sure.
I think that's what most of it comes down to, right? Yeah. But okay, that was a nice political tirade we had on the show that we didn't want to get political with. What else you watch, man? You watched Lightyear and you liked it, so you recommended it. That's a my recommendation.
Yeah, I liked it. Actually, I'm not a big. I mean, I watch cartoons, I guess some, but I watched another short, Mini Buzz. He's like a McDonald's toy. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, it's like from Toy Story. There was Mini Buzz.
It's a 3-minute short, because I was kind of being nostalgic. Because I actually have in Michael's room, I got the original Buzz Lightyear and the original Woody and the toys in there. I kept them from when he was a baby, we bought them for him. So they're in his room sitting on his shelf.
Did you get salad dressing on them?
No, they're perfect.
The Office.
I wish I would have kept the boxes for him.
Oh yeah, man. That, like, if they're the original ones. I think I remember when you got those for him.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think you said you were going to keep the boxes.
I don't know. I doubt it.
No, you said you were going to, but I know you did not.
I think all that happened after Pawn Stars came out and everybody started realizing that you should keep.
Maybe you were saying you should have kept the boxes. Maybe that's another thing.
That's fun. I was watching that show with my grandpa one time, and he's like, I had all these Superman comics when I was a kid. He's
Superman #1, Action Comics #1.
Yeah, just sitting on top of my TV, and I wish to God I would have kept all those, but
Yeah.
it's a different
Oh,
world.
dude, my brothers, my mom will always bring up the fact that she sold the original Star Wars toys line, the ones that are worth millions of dollars now. My brothers had most of them, but she sold them at a garage sale.
Yep, it's pretty sad.
Sad, dude.
But I mean, who knows what's going to, nobody knows. Now everybody keeps everything, I'm sure, and it's probably won't be worth as much.
Yeah, so now, but that makes the collector's market oversaturated. Now nothing is really of value. There's no supply, there's no demand. So
there's a reason why it's so valuable. This is not very many of it exists because
exactly it's supply and demand. It's because they're so rare, that increases their value. What is so what else do you watch, man? You see as many
watch later. I watched The Lost City.
And that's the one with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I avoided that for so long for some reason.
I still am, yeah.
I like Sandra Bullock. I'm not a big Channing Tatum fan, but I really like that movie. Maybe I was in the mood to watch like kind of a quirky action adventure comedy. But it was pretty good. I don't not recommend that. You should check it out. It's okay. So she's a novelist. She writes like sexy, what are they called? Like
romantic
ladies.
books.
Yeah, like
books.
romantic. Yeah, like Danielle style.
Filth.
Yeah, like
Filth. She writes.
Well, man, it's just I think it's like, the cover would be like Fabio. So Shannon Tatum's their cover model, and he's like got the long hair and he's got the muscles and he's like Fabio style. So the idea is she was married to like an archaeologist, and I guess before she started writing novels, she was somewhat into like ancient ruins and just languages and things like that. So I guess after her husband dies, she puts some of that into her book, and this eccentric billionaire guy kidnaps her after a book reading, because in her last book, she put basically the map and like just information to this lost item this guy wants to find. So he needs her to find it, and Channing Tatum goes to recommend. The reason I think I liked it is because Brad Pitt's in it.
So Brad Pitt makes a Bradley Pitt.
And he's freaking awesome in it. It's funny what happens to him, but it's like he's awesome, and he jumps over the fence. He's like killing people left and right. It's just like this amazing. It's so funny though. You don't expect, because he's like, you don't think he's gonna be in that, but it was good. So I heard his voice over the phone. So they're looking for her, and he did this like life seminar with this guy. And so he calls this guy up, and it turns out to be Brad Pitt. So Brad Pitt helps him at first, So he's only in it for like 20 minutes, but it's pretty good. Like
it's like the Tom Cruise part in Tropic Thunder.
Well, no, because he's like in a special appearance, I guess, but it's funny. It's pretty good.
Okay.
And then I watched another movie called Uma.
How you spell that?
UMMA. So that's like, I think Japanese for mom or Korean for mom or something.
Oh, is this the one with the lady from Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't know her name. But we have IMDb. This show not brought to you by IMDb. So there's that.
She's I've seen her in other things. Sandra Oh.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Sandra Oh. Yeah, she's in a few things that I've seen. And so anyways, it's about this lady who, I guess, she lives with her daughter on a farm, but they make honey.
Okay.
And her mother dies and passed away. So I guess she leaves her mom because I guess she had a bad life, and you start to find out like why she left throughout the movie, but it's pretty freaky.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a horror movie.
Okay.
So, but it's good.
Is that a recommendation for you?
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
Okay.
I liked it. A little bit of
You heard it here first. We got another rec from Mike.
little subtitles in there, but
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it seems like I saw the trailer for it, or I've heard news of it, and it seems good. I mean, it seems like
yeah, I
whatever.
think it's one of the top movies on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, wow.
Yes, it does a good movie. Yeah, it's worth watching. It's yeah, yeah, the subtitles add to it, you know. So, anyways, the guy shows up and he's got her mom's remains or whatever, and it's got some culture in it. I can't remember if she's from Korea. I want to say she's from Korea, but I'm not sure.
I guess it tells you in the show.
Yeah, it'll tell you. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I watched it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you know what I watched now,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna start with a big recommendation on Disney Plus. It was such a good documentary. I watched a 6-part documentary series, good healthy episodes too. You're talking about 45 minutes to an hour long each. So good. I in fact submitted my resume and then was promptly denied employment the next day. It's called Light and Magic. It's about ILM, the birth of ILM, which is Industrial Light and Magic. It's the effects studio that George Lucas essentially started. Well, not essentially, he started because the things he needed them to do for Star Wars, nobody had done before. So he needed to find people to do that. So the idea is to make that thing work, because he wanted to make, dogfights in space. He didn't want it to be like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Nothing against that movie, of course. It's a classic, but he didn't want it to be the slow moving space movie, right? Things always moving slowly. He wanted things flying around. He wanted it to look real. He wanted it to look good. And so nobody in the effects world at that point could do anything like that. And so he got this group of guys together, and it's such a fun way, like, and throughout the entire span of what ILM has been now and is, it's just fun to watch because these guys are all just having fun. These ladies and gentlemen, they're all, and it brings me back to, my short stint in indie film and micro budget filmmaking, and it made this crazy memory happen that, like, literally what they're doing to make these things happen, they are flying by the seat of their pants. They have no idea what they're doing next. They are figuring it out as they go, and that's how you make movies. That's exactly how we do everything. I remember having to make, like, we made this really crazy kind of explosion scene happen, and so I had body parts going, so I had to make things look bloody, so I got some fake blood, but then I went to Home Depot and got some twine and stuff like that to make it look like there's like shreds coming out of the stuff. And so that's how you do it. But it's so fun watching these guys who have won multiple Oscars do the same thing that you do as a small filmmaker.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Such a cool documentary, man.
I saw that on Disney Plus.
It is absolutely worth it. It is probably the best doc I've watched in a long time. And you're going to see everybody in there. James Cameron's in there because they've worked on, they're the ones that did Abyss and the water. They did Terminator 2. They're the effects studio. That's the effects house that did it. I mean, yeah. Jurassic Park is under their credit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Everything. It's the Willow. Like Willow was the first time that it was, because it was 1986, but when they were making the movie, obviously it was released in like 89. But Willow was the first movie that they made. They used digital, like CGI. It was the scene whenever the sorceress was morphing into different animals. That's computer graphics. That's the first time it was ever used. And ILM's the one that figured it all out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I watch Adam Savage sometimes when he tries to recreate movie scenes, and it's pretty interesting, how they do that. It seems more complicated than they make it, but I guess it's just trial and error, really.
Well, it's figuring it out and
things like that.
It's figuring it out and then lighting it in such a way that it works.
Right.
But as far as documentary is concerned, it is absolutely worth it. I'm going to let it settle for about a week or two, and I'm probably going to watch it again. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. And like I said, Spielberg's in it. Everybody's in it. Yeah, because they all worked with it. And it was funny because Spielberg actually, because him and George Lucas are friends, they all kind of knew each other throughout their young film careers. There's a kind of a group of guys. I think De Palma is one of them and stuff like that. But they they all knew each other and all kind of hung out. Well, he didn't really figure ILM was a thing yet until they did Raiders of the Lost Ark. And how they did that whole smoke scene that comes out of the ark at the end, and they're doing the lightning bolts and all the Nazis die. So freaking cool.
Yeah,
it's so freaking cool. And it's very scientific. It's very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Spielberg, after they do that, he's like, I'm never going to use another effects house but ILM. So think about that. Think about the credits they have now that Spielberg only uses ILM.
Does it still exist, huh?
Oh yeah. They still have done all the Star Wars. In fact, the most recent filmmaker they had was the guy that did the Underground Railroad on Prime. There's a series. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it's really good. But he's like, that's like the most recent credit. And that was like last year. So, but yeah, they're still winning Oscars, man. They're still breaking ground. I mean, things come from ILM, like industry standards come from ILM. So still do that. But anyway, that was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I 100% recommend that one. I watched, so then I was kind of like, well, I want to watch something that's, let's take a beat on that. I'm going to give you my not recommendation first. I'm going to have a little bit of a harp, if you don't mind, Mike.
Okay.
The Boys season 3. Did you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
I am sick of this show. I'm done with it. It is gory for the sake of being gory, right? It is the plot matters nothing to me. Like, I don't care about any of these characters. I really liked season 1. Season 2 was okay, and I think season 3 was downright garbage.
They kind of did it on the first season just because you were like, wow, that's pretty bloody.
Attention getter, sure.
Right.
Sure.
And then you just like, okay, that's pretty much all the show is.
Right. To the point where season 3 is all about sex, weird sex shit, and blood and guts. That's it.
Yeah, I liked the first season just because I liked the idea of that, like, if a superhero existed in, modern times, would they be corrupt like that? Would that power corrupt them?
Right.
And I feel like it probably would, not every case, but in some,
Oh, sure. And I see that. And that part really doesn't.
That's why the first season was so cool. It's because like, oh, this is a different take on superheroes.
Right. Which then spawned a whole bunch of those things, like the Jupiter Rising and stuff like that.
Right.
Started a whole bunch of that stuff, which actually is a narrative that really started with the early 2000s, Robert Kirkman's Invincible, that comic book that they turned into a Prime show. That's where it really started.
Yeah, I like that show.
It's a great show, and the comic's great.
It is very similar to Jupiter Rising.
Yeah. But so the anti Superman is what really this is, right? And it's I mean, like I said, it's okay. I do like the actor that plays Homelander. I think he plays a wonderful psychopath.
Yeah, have you seen Banshee?
No, but I remember my buddy Joey always wanted me to watch it. Is it good?
That's a good show. Yeah, I watched.
Is that what he's from?
Yeah, he's the main character in Banshee. It's a 5-season. He's a cop.
Okay.
Well, he's pretending to be a cop. He's actually a ex-con, or he's wanted. And I can't remember the whole premise, but he ends up in this town. And he pretends to be the sheriff. He becomes the sheriff of this town.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
Okay, so
5 seasons, I believe.
All right. Well, I mean, but he's a great actor, tremendous, and really, honestly, the cast is really good. Carl Urban's great.
Oh yeah.
What's his face? Is it Randy Quaid's son or Dennis Quaid's? Which Quaid's son?
Oh, is that Randy Quaid?
I think it's Randy. I think maybe not Randy. Which one's the crazy one? The not crazy one's son.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid's son. I think it's Dennis Quaid's son. I'm pretty sure. Anyways.
Okay.
They're all good actors.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
don't give a crap about the characters. And that's not in the acting, that's in the writing.
yeah, you got the dude from Breaking Bad in there too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, man, he's in everything.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, what am I?
You don't know his
No.
name? I can't remember his name. My brother met him one time.
Oh yeah, he's in everything. His like first speaking role was in Trading Places, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff.
I think it was Trading Places. He's in jail with Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
That was his first speaking role. Anyways, so he's been in everything. But yeah, he's in it. So it's not a lack of talent. And it's not a
No.
lack of money being thrown. Like Prime's throwing money at this show.
Oh yeah.
It is writing. It is lazy. It is. They found their groove. Oh, we can get good reviews if we have people blow up all the time, constantly. Like people don't. So I don't know. So I do not recommend that show. I'm officially unrecommending the boys if I ever had recommended it before.
I'm a fan of the boys.
Not a fan. All right. So the last one I watched, I wanted to kind of get something good. So I watched something that haven't watched in forever. I watched Show Me a Hero. Have you ever seen that? HBO Max. Absolutely worth it. It's an older series. It's a mini series, 6-parter. It's got Oscar Isaac in it. Alfred Molina's in it. Jim Belushi's in it. The cast is really good. It's about the city of Yonkers in the late 80s to early 90s, and it's focused on the youngest mayor in Yonkers history. I think he was like 29 when he became mayor of Yonkers. But it's also about forced integration and public housing. So
integrating. Yeah, it was like
yeah. Yonkers was a pretty segregated place up until the later 80s for it being upstate New York.
Oh, so they were keeping people of color out.
Well, yeah, because they had all their public housing on the west side of Yonkers, right? So they needed more public housing. They needed to cleaner public housing and all that stuff. So the court essentially orders them to build some public housing in the east side. And it's a really cool story because it talks about how they modernize public housing. The fact that the case really takes almost 20 years to take. And
that's crazy. In the 80s and 90s, really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's all about, and so it's like, and it's so funny because Oscar Isaac character, he plays the youngest mayor. He plays the mayor, but he's talking about how the main guy of the people speaking out against this forced public housing construction site. He's one of those guys that's never gonna use one of the bad words. He's never gonna say anything blatantly racist. He's always gonna bring up the fact that about affording stuff and stuff like that. These underlying racial slurs and stuff like that.
Oh, so he is racist?
Oh gosh.
But just not
outwardly, right? Not yeah.
Okay.
Other ways around it to get people out because they don't want it comes down to they don't want the black people coming to their neighborhoods.
I see.
Yeah. But man, great show. It's really kind of well done because you have a storyline. It's all one big storyline, right? It's all about this thing, but you have these subplots within it. You have like the tenants, and you watch them live in these other public housings and the things that are happening to them, and then eventually they all come to like to the right to the good spot, right? The spot that's been built for them, the fresh spot, and there's all these like good people that are in bad situations. So it's really good stories. Really, really well worth the watch. 6-part episode. So
yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. So I don't know, man. I think that's it. I think we should move on to the movie of the week. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, movie of the week. All right, guys. Here we are at the movie of the week. I hope you all watched it, and so you can take in on the commentary with us. So, all right, Mike, what did we watch this week?
Black Phone.
Black Phone.
Yes.
Starring the great Ethan Hawke.
And he is excellent in it.
Oh, he is excellent.
He made the movie.
Dude, he's I don't know if you've heard of this kid, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's spooky, scared man.
He's got some talent. Oh man, the masks were great. The imagery was really cool.
Yeah, it had potential for sure.
So yeah, like there's some like so. I took notes on this one. And I do sometimes. Unless I've seen the movie a billion times, but this is a newer movie for me. I took notes on it, and but all his notes are like the one I have in all caps is Ethan Hawke is good at acting. He is. But I mean, so it's a it's a weird movie for me. I liked it, hated it, then by the end of it, liked it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish they would have just picked a genre, I guess. I mean, it's horror, but I wish they would have picked, like what type of horror and just went with it. Seemed like there was multiple things in there that
Okay.
the supernatural aspects of it, I thought I'd rather not have that versus him just being a crazy serial killer. And then
Sure.
going with that because he was so good. I felt like they could have expanded upon that more because the movie revolved around the boy and the phone more or less and the ghosts and all that.
Yeah, it's I get what you're saying. Pick a lane.
Yeah, because they were hitting everything. And I don't know. I liked it. I did not like it. I didn't like it like all of it though.
Right. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely like this is by the end of the movie and what you realize the movie has become. I really enjoyed that. You know, but like so and this is kind of stupid notes, but like the kid, like the first, and it all matters later on. But my notes are, how is this 9-year-old kid throwing a curveball like that? Like he's spiking his curve, dude. Like it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was good.
But
I like the camera work. They made it seem kind of like I guess it took place in the 70s,
yeah, it was 78.
80s,
It was 78.
early 80s. Yeah.
It was 78. 1978 was
Yeah.
it was supposed to be.
So I like the way they made it kind of look like, it would look more from that time, like something you would see, the camera work, the lighting and everything.
Sure. And it's a great time period to pick to run a fictional serial killer movie.
Right. Kids riding their bikes everywhere.
Well, I mean that's a pretty that's the time of Dean Corll. That's the time of John Wayne Gacy. All the big serial killers were in the late 70s. I mean, and early 80s. So like that was the perfect time to do it. It was like that was perfectly picked, I think.
Yeah, I think back then, things weren't really that wasn't really happening. As far as like the news, kids were roaming free and just kind of hanging out on the streets and walking home from school. And, as, time went on, obviously parents are a little more,
Well, it's because of these serial killers that was like that.
Right. There's a bunch of weirdos out there for sure.
Well, yeah, and there still are, I'm sure. I mean,
oh yeah, there is. But I mean, I think at that point, that was like the beginning of all that, where you started seeing that more and more, as more TVs in people's homes and media picking up on stories like that, and kind of sensationalizing that stuff.
Well, and just communication in general. Everybody's got a cell phone on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't call anybody.
Yeah. I like GPS is a thing. I can track most people with a phone if I try hard enough. So yeah, it's hard to do, and it's hard to do. Like that's the thing. Like I was kind of always thinking about how can I write a serial killer movie that takes place in the modern time. It's a really hard thing to do. So they forego that idea and have it take place in the 70s, which again, perfectly picked spot. Perfectly picked spot. So what do we think about this? Okay, so the guy from Lost is the dad. He's a scientist who goes to the island and try whatever. What do you think of this family dynamic?
I mean, obviously he was fucked up. I mean, his daughter or his wife had I guess she committed suicide
Suicide, yeah, yeah.
because she had the same gift that the daughter has,
Right, right.
where she can see things in her dreams, I guess. And that's, that part where I really was just like, I don't know.
Well, you just
I
started
don't
having dreams again, so
Yeah, what I just mean in
they work.
general, just like the fact that I don't know. I just didn't like that part. I wish it was just serial killer and real regular people, not that.
You didn't need the premonition side.
No, because that would have, that I don't know, that muddied it up for me.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, I liked some of the characters that came out of that. When he's talking to them on the phone and stuff.
sure.
He's a good actor though. That dad, he's drunk. He's a good dad somewhere in there.
See, I feel totally different about that. I think he is a very good actor. I think he is probably the most talented person besides Ethan Hawke on that screen.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But I think his role in this movie was horrible. I think it was.
I just took from it that he's self-medicated. Obviously, he's fucked
Sure,
up. He's
yeah,
lost
yeah,
his
cool.
love of his life. But I feel like he knows because he keeps bringing that up so often about the daughter having the dreams and her not being real. Because I'm assuming that the daughter tells him and stuff, and he's dealt with that, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to have this happen to my daughter."
Right.
So I think he takes that to an extreme, is what I mean when I say, I think somewhere in there he's decent, because there
Oh
are
yeah, he's not a bad guy. I don't. Honestly, dude. When they is, I'm probably gonna get canceled if anybody else watches this. Which I don't know. But anyways, when they showed him spanking the daughter, I'm like, that's how we were disciplined when we were kids.
Yeah, but that was a little extreme.
Sure, it was. He was a little drunk. It was a little overhand, but
Yeah.
still at the same time, it's
Yeah,
not
we're
like
all
he's sitting there beating the crap out of her, right?
no, I mean, but he spanked her pretty good. But that's what I mean is I think that was just in response to him not wanting the same thing happen to his wife.
Right. Yeah, it was absolutely a reaction and overreaction.
You know
But
what I mean?
I just bring up the fact that I don't think the guy's a bad guy. I think that something tragic happened to him and he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily the biggest time for mental health problems. Like
No.
that it was they weren't treated back then.
No, right, exactly. So yeah, but that's what I got from that is just that he was definitely not wanting her to go down that road. And I think he still felt that I guess punishment like that would keep her from, expressing that,
Sure.
it's not real basically. But yeah, that whole thing though, I don't know. There was some of the characters, some of the kids, that was pretty cool, like him giving tips and everything.
Well, that's what I want to bring up that later on. Yeah, because that to me was my favorite part of the movie. But I will tell you that the daughter part where it didn't her having the power didn't necessarily take me out of it. It's the fact that here's this 7-year-old girl being just interviewed so casually by the police.
Yeah.
Like they might have given her should have just given her a beer. Like it was not well written. Like it was not well portrayed. The whole cop interaction with the daughter, I hated. I just edit
she
that
kind
out.
of went off on that cop, huh?
Yeah, but they're like, whatever, fuck you or bleep, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, that was
like
strange.
your reaction wasn't very good to it either.
No, that was a strange interaction for a young girl like that. I don't think that would have happened. But obviously, I think that. I mean, maybe she grew up a little rough. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. But I guess my main problem is the cops' interaction with her. Like they were very like, I don't know how to do my job. I'm gonna have this 7-year-old girl do it for me. Like,
Right.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. They kind of followed her a little bit blindly, which was weird.
Right. So we have a lot of buildup. We see a lot of characters. We meet them. Obviously, we meet the necessary characters, necessary kids for the movie to work. And then our main character, Finney, is taken by Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I like that part.
The black balloons, the
Black
gas
spray. Yeah. What are you spraying into his mouth?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but it was powerful, whatever it was. But yeah, that's cool. And then they end up in the basement where he's wearing these wicked masks. Costume designer killed it with these masks. They are cool. They are.
Yeah, and so you saw different sides of him,
Yes.
you know.
I'm
I
sure if we watch
never
the movie again, I'm sure if we watch the end, I'm sure there's something to read into that. But yeah,
Yeah, it was like he was three different people with wearing different masks.
right. Of
You
course.
know, he wore the bottom piece or the top piece, and then the full piece. And it was like three different sides to his personality, you know.
Yes.
And he didn't like when he saw his face. I know that. So
Yeah, which they never got explained.
no, and so that's what I mean. They could have. I think they went down too many paths, and that's
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying.
yet they have this crazy interaction with the police and the daughter, and not explaining why the main killer's wearing the mask. Period. Like this is you've made this a pretty focused point of the movie, and now you're not going to tell us why. Yeah, that irritates me too. Yeah.
What do you think about the brother?
So this whole thing with the brother, and then
He's like,
I figured it out. I figured it out about 3 minutes after we met the brother.
uh-huh.
I figured out like, oh, it's his brother.
Right. Yeah, I figured that's what he had somebody upstairs is the reason why he couldn't bring him food at
Yeah.
first.
And then it's like, oh, I'm staying with my brother for the time being. I'm like, okay, well, here we are. You know, so
Well, right after they met him, it flashed down to the basement anyway.
did
So
it? Maybe I was writing my notes saying I knew the brother was it was the killer's brother the whole time.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
panned
see
down
that.
to the floor, through the floor into the basement after the
Oh,
cop.
did it right after we met him? I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
the second
Okay.
you met him, yeah. It just goes pans down through the
Oh,
basement.
I don't know. I thought it was just flashed out and it was some other scene. I don't think I think it was later on. Later
like-
on, the brother was panned down. That
No.
shot was panned down.
It was the first time they meet him.
It was the first time I met him. Okay.
Right when the cops shut the door, because they basically dismissed that guy because he had coke on the table and shit.
Okay.
And so it pans down from there into the basement. And so we're like, oh, okay. Well,
Well, yeah, I guess so. Okay.
yeah, they don't leave a lot to it at first. Like, yeah, I mean, but I thought it was kind of interesting, I guess, interesting take. I don't know if it was necessary.
I don't think so. I don't think it was. It was another like. There's a lot of things that were totally unnecessary in this movie. Completely unnecessary.
You know, he's the cop in Sinister.
Yeah, he's also. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but
He's
let's talk about these kids.
Well.
So, this whole black phone has been. You see it when you first see the black phone. It's been ripped off the hook.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not going to work, right? But you can tell that the killer, Ethan Hawke's character, can hear it too. Because when we first meet, he first is talking to Finney. He's like, "Did you hear the phone ring? Did you hear the phone ring?" Ethan Hawke is so good in all these scenes. Like all these scenes are like just like he's a really good actor. Like he's really good at it. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
belaboring the point, but he's good. Anyways, so these kids, and so whenever the phone rings and Finney can hear the phone ring, he can pick it up and he starts talking to these kids. What do you think about this dynamic? Is this dynamic too much for you, or do you wish the movie was just this and not?
I don't know. Just because Ethan Hawke was so good, I'd rather it would have just been like.
Pause.
Okay. You don't want to take her with you? All right, we're good. He's in the shot.
Unpause. So, okay, so we're talking about the dynamic with the kids and everything like that, and you're so.
Yeah,
Is that something?
I liked Ethan Hawke's character. Just like the craziness, the serial killer aspect of him, to where, but I just wish they would have made it more realistic.
You wanted this to be a just straight serial killer movie.
Right. I thought that would have been better just because he was so good. Now I did like the characters, the kids, you know, their parts in it. So if you were going to make a movie like that, then make it like that, you know, but I thought it was split, and I wish they would have went the other route with it, is what I'm saying. Like, so no premonitions from the girl, and no kids popping up. Maybe he sees things down in the basement, like the carvings, or he finds things and figures it out on his own, like that, versus him talking on the phone. But the movie's called Black Phone, so I guess,
Well, I mean, a movie title is a movie title. You can change the movie title.
right. But
You can call it Scary Mask Guy, played by Ethan Hawke, if you wanted to.
just because like he was so freaking spooky, like when he first, even from the first scene, because you could always do flashbacks of him catching these kids, you know what I mean, and doing all that, and
Sure.
make it a reality based serial killer movie. And so the kid sees the combination on the wall, and maybe he's allowed to go upstairs a little bit and notices the padlock, versus the kid telling him about him on the phone, or him finding the drywall like it busting apart at some point, him discovering these things that the other kids had done, and then works it out.
Maybe use it in more of a flashback rather than them telling him.
Right, exactly.
Okay, no, I don't mind that. I think that's because that's one of the things that I liked about the resolution of the movie, is that it was kind of like this. Everybody helped,
Sure.
Everybody helped get this guy,
and their characters are cool, and you could have still had that.
Right. The characters are very cool. I think that was the best written part of the movie.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw it twice, so I mean, I did like it. I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me, I guess, because then you didn't get enough Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
He was just more. He wasn't. He was. I guess he's a main character, but he's not really, because he's
Finney is obviously the main character.
Right. I don't know. I like their interaction.
The antagonist is Ethan Hawke.
Right. But, I mean, I understand that, but I don't know. He was just so good, and I felt like they could have went that route. But I guess when you're filming it, you're going off a script, and it's done when it's done. But I felt like about watching his performance, right? Some of those scenes, he would change the writing up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's the writer's job, and somebody got greenlit. I think I liked that dynamic. I wish the movie was just that. I wish it was like the police investigation, the daughter.
That was kind of
dad awesome. Seemed so out of place and so third party to me, and so just didn't need to be there. Like it was completely unnecessary. It was time for me to go to the bathroom. Like that's not good for a movie.
Right.
That's all that was. But go on. Sorry, my dog wants to get on the couch. Apparently needs permission, and now he's off the couch. Lay down. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I liked the phone stuff. I think that's really cool. I think it was a unique, maybe not super unique, but I liked the aspects of it that were unique. Like the kids never knew their names, like didn't remember their names after they died. That's kind of cool to me. I think that's kind of a cool, interesting dynamic. And the fact that every kid taught Finn what to do. Are you there, Mike?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you like that. Well, I mean, I didn't mind it. Those characters are good. I like the bully kid. I like the little fighter in the beginning.
Yeah, he's good. He was probably my favorite character.
Yeah,
like he was a good character. He's like a good guy.
I mean, yeah, I like the interactions. I liked all that stuff.
Let's say that you were, well, knowing you my whole life, I think I know the answer to this question, but let's say that you were 9, 10 years old, whatever old Finn was, would you be able to handle that? Are you able to kill that guy?
I was pretty mean.
Not that you were just kind of always gung-ho about stuff. So
yeah, I would definitely probably try.
You were never really afraid.
I wouldn't sit back, but I mean, I don't know. That's everybody wants to say that they would do certain things, and until you're in that position, you just never know. Obviously, if you can figure out that you're not going to make it out of somewhere unless you fight back, then you should probably fight back. I think that's a natural instinct for most people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this thing, you know, when you see movies like that where they feel like they say the victim feels like if they're nice to, and see, this is, I think, what happens to a lot of people from what I've read is that they feel like if they're nice and they do whatever the bad man wants them to do, that they'll be nice to them in return. They won't kill them or they won't hurt them in some way. And that's usually not the case, you know, but do you know that at the time? I don't know if he was 10 years old. I felt like he was just young. Like, what do you think? I thought it was at least 12 or 13.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I maybe you're right. Maybe like if he's a little older, maybe he's got more, and it is that fight or flight situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he's obviously on the cusp of being, you know, a young adult, you know, like trying to, like they've shown him in two aspects of him, you know, one where he's kind of weak and, you know, obviously he's a good athlete, obviously has that potential to be great, but he kind of doesn't believe in himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Got a
think by
sick
the end of
arm.
the movie, yeah, that's he has to
Almost got
overcome
him.
that. Uh,
He's got a what does it say? Like it's a sick arm. You almost got me.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. He tells him, yeah, he's got a good arm or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think he's got to overcome that by the end of the movie. And I think you see that character development. You
Yeah.
know, that was definitely on purpose, right? We show him kind of weak, not weak, but just, kind of takes it a little bit, and then because he gets bullied by those other kids, and then, the kid tells him, you need to stand up for yourself. And he says, I'm not like you, and then by the end of the movie, obviously he has to do this on his own, right? And he does it, and you see that transition, into, finding himself, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that I would be like that, but you never know. I mean, shit, I might lay down in the corner. I doubt it, but
I mean,
I'm not stupid. I would, I mean, if you're in I was always really, so my whole, like when I remember when I was a kid, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do remember this, but like, you remember Lorena Bobbitt?
yeah.
That
Yeah. I remember
freaked
going
me
about
out so badly when I was a kid, just that somebody would do that. And so I remember sleeping with my legs crossed, thinking that I was like protecting myself. It'd be like, in the bed, laying on my back with my legs, like crossed like that.
it.
Realize everything is just up on top of you.
Yeah, you just
Do
put it on
that,
display now.
but I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
I've displayed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to think for some reason that was going to protect me. But so like for me, like being kidnapped and stuff like that, that was like my mom put that in my head, like, because we grew up in the 90s and,
Yeah.
you could go outside and play. We played like, kids in the 80s, but in my house, at least, you didn't go anywhere unless you told her you were going somewhere.
Yes.
And so she kind of put that in my head early that there are some pretty damn bad people out there. So,
Well, yeah, and I was raised by a police officer, and so the same thing. Like there was no, like you knew exactly where you were, and if they didn't know where you were, oh man.
well, see, that's the thing is like, I think we grew up in the time when, that was ending because of all
Yeah.
that crap that was going on. And parents were just like, okay, obviously you can't do what we used to do. You can't just take your bike to school, miles down the road, you know what I mean? And especially when Michael was younger, like that was a no-no. Like we didn't even put him into daycare until he could talk because of all the crazy shit that was going on. And I wanted to be able him to tell me, if something was going on, because you see stories of these people that are caught on camera beating kids and, just horrible people. And I wasn't going to let that happen. So I think we grew up in the right at the back end of that, which is nice. We still were outside and playing and everything else. But, we had that thought in our head that, hey, somebody come pull up on you and grab you up,
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think that was the case back then in the late 70s, like when he was, they're walking to school, all the kids are out. You see after the game, he's riding his bike, through the streets back to his home,
Just doing his thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
right. Easy pickings, man. Easy pickings for somebody who wants to grab you up. And these weren't young kids either. They're he fights back. He stabs him with that airplane or whatever he had.
yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Finn was he was fighting back the whole time. Like he was, I don't know. He seemed like kind of like a badass to me. So
That's what I mean. He had that in him. Obviously, he's an athlete, and he just lacked a little self-confidence, I believe, and he found it at the end, which is great. The end scene was awesome. Tears him up.
yeah, man, gets him.
Mhm.
So as we learned with the dad, I don't know why I put this note, but I put in the note, I wish the dad had a drink while he was walking to the ambulance. Because he always had a drink in his hand. It was like a screwdriver at all times.
Yeah, he was drinking drivers in the morning.
But anyways, I mean, like I said, I liked the movie. I didn't like the movie, and then I ended by the end of it, I liked the movie. I feel like the movie could have been 45 minutes, though. I think all that stuff with the daughter is necessary.
Right.
The cops did nothing, so why did we feature them so much?
Yeah. What did he say? I know what did she say? Just calls them up out of the blue and they just go running.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole dynamic I don't get it. So
maybe it was just because of the fact that she knew things that she should know, and they were trying to throw their heads around that, how does she know these things if that's not been released? Different things like that.
Right.
But again, yeah, I think that there would have been a little more scrutiny on their part in real life. So
getting blown up over there, bud. All right. Well, what do you say? Do we recommend the movie or do we not recommend the movie?
I mean, I recommend it.
Okay.
I recommend it.
I would recommend it as well. Go watch Black Phone, folks. It was pretty good. It was okay. Ethan Hawke is brilliant. Giving classes again. Yeah, so I guess from now, let's move on to the news. Yeah. All right, y'all. Here we go. We got some news. We don't have as much news as we did last week. We are kind of doing a continuation of last week. It's going to be a continuation of Comic-Con, essentially. We focused a lot on Marvel last week, and for a good reason. They killed it, right? A lot of things. I had a correction to make, too. I assumed that Kang Dynasty was the end of Phase 5. Phase 6 will end with 2 back-to-back Avengers movies, much like Infinity War and Endgame. It'll be Kang's Dynasty, then Secret Wars. So cool. Anyways, we're talking about Marvel. This is not what we're doing right now. During Comic-Con, because of this, actually not during Comic-Con, it was released on its own because it comes out September 13th. We got a brand new trailer for something Star Warsy that at first, honestly, I've always been excited about this. I love the character, and I love the fact that we're kind of moving away from the Skywalkers. And so we've got a cool trailer. Let's check it out. Better.
To steal from the Empire? You just walk in like you belong. They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting.
You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief? You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like.
I'm tired of losing.
Looks awesome. That's good.
It looks so good, and it looks like they're doing what I wanted them to do with it, making it kind of. It's going to be this really cool spy drama. I think it looks great, man. The character's so cool that I think it looks really good. Yeah, a few keynotes. Stellan Skarsgård's in it, which is cool.
Yeah, he's good.
And then you had Forrest Whitaker reprising his role as Saw Gerrera from Rogue One, which so awesome. So yeah, man, that's Andor, and it's happening September 13th. It seems that's a month away. It's a little more than a month away, but still looks really good. I'm excited about it. Star Wars killing it, man. Killing it.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that for sure.
I think so too. I hope they do a little more than just 6 episodes, which has been their kind of MO for Star Wars, but let's see. All right, so next up, Batgirl. We don't have a trailer for it. Today, the CEO of Warner Brothers has canned it. There was a whole feature film in the can, ready to release with Batgirl. And the CEO said it doesn't fit their mold. Like what? Yeah, at this point, what is Warner Brothers' mold of DC films? Does anybody know? But it doesn't fit that. From all stills that we've seen from this movie, it looks really good. But it just got canned. It's surprising that the news happened today. So super tough, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed like they're going that direct direction there too, but I don't know. Speaking of DC, we're going to continue our trailer stuff, and we're going to give you the new trailer with the new trailers from DC that was released during Comic-Con. So again, this is not anything new that we've had before. It's just, or no, it's not. It's new for us, but it's not new for the world. It's been out for about a week or two. But we have to be thorough on this show.
I'm an idiot.
It's showtime!
I don't deserve these powers, if I'm being honest. Like, what am I even contributing? Ow! There's already a superhero with a red suit with a lightning bolt on it. Aquaman is literally huge and he's so manly. And Batman is so cool. And I'm just me. I feel like a fraud. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the wizard gave me superpowers. Well, then everybody got superpowers. Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay.
Now everyone's kind of like doing their own thing, and I'm the only one trying to keep it together.
You understand I'm a pediatrician, right?
Come on!
Now let's get down to business.
Listen to me, Billy. The fate of your world depends on it. The daughters of Atlas are coming for you.
Children stole the power of all the gods. This is very personal, Billy.
Look, I might not have as much experience as you because I'm not super old like you, but I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies, lady. It's all about family. Family! Guys, that was a signal.
Introducing the star of our show. His name is Shazam! Now let's get down to business.
Your world will not survive this.
That was Lucy Liu.
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
You think I know how to fix this dude, but I really don't.
Really? Everyone can be worthy. Let's give it a chance. Now go fight for your family. Go fight for the world.
Hurry, step right up. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world right now.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Can I get a witness?
So new Shazam.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot.
I did too. I remember liking the first one quite a bit. What'd you think of the trailer?
It's good. I'll watch it.
All right, good. Don't get into too much detail what you thought about the trailer. Just
I did. I liked it.
give the
I like the Eminem song.
you like the what?
I like the Eminem song in it. Get down to business.
Yeah, you ready to get down to business? Okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, see, the thing is, Finnegan solo, no. The thing is, I feel like this is all in the world, the universe that Batfleck, Batfleck lives in, right? Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman. I feel like that's the whole world we're living in, right?
Yeah.
But didn't Warner Brothers effectively say that doesn't exist anymore?
It did. It's just sad because they could have done really good things with that.
So
You could do Justice League now.
yeah, I mean, and they could. This is cool. This looks cool. This looks good.
They did this one right. That's the problem is they didn't do the other ones right.
Right. I agree with that. 100%. This
That's
looks
when
good.
Open Flash pulls it out. If Jackass will stop being a jackass, he's just beating people and just acting a fool, man. Flash. What's his name?
Who?
The guy that's like beating people over the head with chairs. The cops are looking for him and shit. It says the Flash. What's his name?
Oh gosh. Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Ah, wow, that guy.
He's gonna ruin it.
But yeah, so I think it looks good. I think it looks cool, and I think it's still living in this world. And I'll tell you why I know it's living in this world. And this is what is wrong with Warner Brothers. Because I think officially now, Ben Affleck signed on to play an Aquaman. Mike?
Sorry. Yeah, you said Ben Affleck's gonna be in The Flash.
Aquaman.
Oh, Aquaman.
Already in the Flash. But yeah, Aquaman. He's going to be an Aquaman. So, like, I guess Warner Bros. Doesn't know what the hell they're doing either. They just kind of don't get it.
Well,
So,
he's not going to do a Batman either. He had to bulk up for that movie tremendously. So that's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. I don't think he's going to do that for these other two movies.
you don't think so?
I don't think so, no. That's a lot of toll on your body.
Sure is. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's old. He's getting old. He did good, though, I thought.
Who, Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was fun. I mean, my new favorite Batman is Robert Pattinson, but
Yeah, but he played bulky Batman.
yeah, he did. He played old man.
Batman.
He played old man, bulky Batman pretty well. I did enjoy his Batman. I gotta tell you.
He's a good Bruce Wayne, too.
Yeah, I hated Batman versus Superman. I think that movie's garbage, but
There's so much in there. I just
Huh?
like the character. There's so many bad movies come out of DC, but I like the characters. That's why, I keep hoping that they'll
well,
pull.
sure, yeah, these are timeless classic characters, but they're also being shat upon. So, like
We didn't get a standalone Batman though either.
No, he did not get a
I'm not-
standalone Batman. He was supposed to. He was supposed to be the Batman.
That would have been good.
And then everything started going down with everybody else, and so they kind of pivoted.
Mhm. Yeah.
And now they're canceling movies left and right that have already been filmed. Like they've already spent the money on this movie. This
Aquaman's not
Batgirl
horrible
movie.
either.
I want to bring that up. They've already, it's in the can. Like it's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's never gonna release ever.
I didn't feel like Aquaman was horrible.
Oh, I hated that movie.
I mean, it's not the worst one of all of them.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay.
And he's
It's not the
Aqu-
worst Nazi, but it's you know,
saying like Aquaman, is not the best character anyway, but it wasn't the worst movie. That's what's sad about that.
that's a good point. He is a horrible character to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the best character, and he's not the worst movie. So that just should tell you what they're just screwing up. But like you said, Marvel lets the comics write themselves, and DC does not do that. So they let non-comic book people make those movies.
Yep, exactly it.
Because I think they've established that with Marvel, you can kind of get weird with it, and people will buy into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got a built-in fan base anyway. That's pretty strong. And what Kevin Feige did is he said, "Hey, we're going to lean into it," and that's the thing. That's the key. There's been one guy that's produced this whole thing with Marvel, who said yes or no, who approved, who's kept the ship right. DC doesn't have that. They had Jeff Johns for a minute, who was, I don't know if you know Jeff Johns is, but he's an old writer for DC writer. Great books, man. I got a few of them. He used to write a lot of Green Lantern. Anyways, he was doing it for a while, but then they fired him from that role. So
yeah, no bueno.
So I don't know. All right, let's get to the last trailer for the night. Again, it's a Comic-Con trailer, and it is already been out for a couple weeks, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I think DC's up to their own stuff again.
My powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. Black Adam.
You believe you are not worthy. But you have two paths. You can be the destroyer of this world. Or you can be its savior. The world needed a hero. Instead, it got me.
What's the trailer? It's trailer number 2.
That looks good. I'm gonna watch that one. I just don't understand where they're gonna go with that. That's the only problem right now, because they're making him more like a hero.
Yes. See, that's
Again,
my
we talked
problem.
about that,
I think that's optics, though. I think that's you saying, "Oh, I like The Rock. Rock's a good guy." I don't buy him in this role, and I know he's always wanted to play this role.
Right. Well, but I said before, you have to be worthy to get the suit. And so at some point in his life, he was worthy, but he was corrupted by the power. And if they show that at the end, I'll buy the movie. I like it because then you can spin off into Shazam, Black Adam.
Okay.
Fight, head to head. Next Shazam movie.
So Shazam 3 probably.
Yeah, if they do it right.
Which they probably won't. Let's not have any expectations that they're going to do things correctly.
Just depends on what they're trying to do. If they're trying to make a
I think they're trying to make The Rock a superhero, and they use the wrong character to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing is you could make he'd be a good villain too. I've never seen him as a villain. I'd like to see.
I just don't buy it. Yeah, maybe that's built-in perception, right?
It
That's
is.
me seeing The Rock as the hero, and
He's always the hero.
he's always the hero. So
Yeah.
maybe you could be right. I mean, that could be a point. So
If they make him go bad at the end, let's say he comes in, so he comes in there and he's like, he finds this character that he really likes in the movie, and something bad happens to that character, and it sends him over the edge at the end. And then we have that, that thing that took him over the edge. And then that spins off into Shazam 3. Because he's a villain. He is.
he is a villain. He is.
Yeah. But again, he wouldn't have got that power if he wasn't good at some point, right?
Right. But I don't remember that in the books.
I don't know.
Hard time remembering.
They got to explain his character. I mean, he's got to have a story.
Sure, but I think that necessarily it wasn't that he was worthy. I think he stole it. I think that was the type of thing.
Oh, was it? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the story. I just know that
I don't remember, but I want to say vaguely that's it. But I remember reading an origin story or something like that. So okay.
Then that
Well-
would make less sense of altogether.
Yeah. Unless you have anything else, I think that's the news, my friend.
I don't. That was great.
All right, the news is over. Let's talk about the movie for next week. See you over there. All right, y'all. We have deliberated. We've taken several hours to figure this point out. As you can see, it's now nighttime. But we decided the movie for next week. What did we decide, Mike?
We're gonna do The Gray Man on Netflix.
Okay, cool. Starring Ryan Gosling,
Yes, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, other people.
Other people.
And so, okay, cool. I'm excited about it. Please go watch that movie. Therefore, you can not be spoiled when we talk about it. And please enjoy it. And we'll talk about that movie. I think that's going to be our show for today, though. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. We want to be sharing our love of movies with everybody and film. And I think that if you guys like and subscribe, you'll like and subscribe us. I don't that make no sense. Anyways, that's it for me. Anything for you? You got anything else, Mike?
No.
All right, man. Well, for
Watch
Tim,
them.
and, that's it. Well, for the Tim and Mike show, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
Go watch some movies. Yeah.